Hi, welcome to The Doctors Are In. This is Tracy, otherwise known as Mercy Tiara on YouTube, and I'm bringing you the first in a series of videos called The Doctors Are In. This is a collaboration that I'm doing with Irit Landgraf. We are two scrappers who also happen to be doctors in real life, like in our everyday day jobs, and I'm a psychologist and she's a physician, and we are going to bring you guys two different approaches to solving common scrapbooking problems. And the idea behind this is that we're going to give you two different takes from two different scrapbookers on solutions to whatever ails your creative body and soul. This month we're going to be bringing you scrap block therapy in the form of mini kits. So both Irit and I have created mini kits from our stash that we're going to use as a way to jumpstart our scrapping. And we're both going to share with you guys some of our tips on how to pull supplies from your stash so that you don't feel too overwhelmed about getting right in there and starting to scrapbook. We're each going to tell you what we like to put in our mini kits of scrapbooking products that we put together to scrapbook a couple of layouts. And then we're going to each show you our process as we make two layouts from these kits. I'm going to start by showing you guys my kit in this video, and then I have another two videos coming up that will show you what I do with this kit. So let's get started. Hi guys, Tracy here with a brand new video for you guys. This one is for a brand new series that I have with Irit, and it is called The Doctors Are In. And the two of us, we chat occasionally and talk about scrapbooking and life. So we both get similar questions asked on our YouTube channels, and we decided to create a series where together the two of us both try to answer some of the common questions that we get, and we'll each kind of take the question and then go off and do our own things, and then we'll post the videos and show you guys two different ideas about how to handle a common problem or barrier or just questions that people have. So we thought that that way you guys could have two different approaches, two different sets of ideas of how to overcome some of these problems. So our first video actually comes from a scrap chat video that I did a couple of weeks ago, where we were talking about getting scrapping and how to kind of get off of the videos in the computer and get into your scrapbook room, and how to bring some of that creativity that you find online and bring it to your scrap room and actually get stuff done. And that was sparked by some discussion about people who have left me comments, and I think Irit has received similar comments, where people say, I love watching videos to get inspiration, but then I go to my own scrap room and I feel overwhelmed and I just don't know where to start. Some people feel like they have way too many supplies and they don't know where to start. And then other people feel like, I don't have nearly as many supplies as you guys have, so how could I do what you guys do? So we decided to make a video all about how to create your own mini kit that will get you started, because sometimes when you're sitting in your scrap room or wherever you scrap and you're surrounded by so many different options, it's really hard. Sometimes having more stuff is actually not helpful. And so we talked about the benefit of narrowing down your choices and creating yourself a little mini kit to scrapbook from. So I'm going to make a mini kit today, and my goal for this mini kit is that it's going to be enough supplies for me to scrapbook two layouts. And I'm going to share with you in this video how I make a mini kit and what kinds of things go into my mini kit. So I'm going to share my little recipe with you guys. And then I'm going to scrapbook two layouts from it. And then Irit is going to do the same. So you'll see my mini kit video, and then you'll see Irit's mini kit video, and then we're going to each do process videos using the two kits. What I've decided to start with for today is one photo and one piece of paper. So these are my jumping off points. If you watch my videos, you will know that I almost scrapbooked this photo a little while ago, and you'll also know that I had picked out this background paper to scrap with this photo several layouts ago. And so I kind of feel like of all the things that are sitting around my scrap room, this is what I need to do next. So that is my starting off point. And you may not have such a specific starting off point, or you may have an even more specific starting off point. So whatever you have, start there. If you have nothing, then I would suggest that you start with either a piece of paper that you really love and really want to use. So for me, it would be this. Even if I didn't have this photo, I would be wanting to use this piece of paper. This is from Pink Paisley from Take Me Away, and it's the paper called number 18. And so I definitely want to use this because this is one of several supplies that have been sitting out on my desk for a while, and I want to get it used up. So I'm starting off with this. If you're not a person who starts, if you're not product driven in your choices, then you might want to start with a photo. So if I were starting with this photo, I would think about what are the colors and what are the themes going on in this photo. So this is a picture of my kids at the mall. There are some kind of washed out turquoises and peachy colors all in around the background and the edges of the photo. And then we've got this hit of yellow in her hat and in the two drinks, and also this hit of pink, and there's some navy blue and some blues in here too. So I would be thinking blues, yellows, pinks, I guess is what I would be thinking. And so this has some of those blues and it goes to green. I could really easily pull in some peaches and pinks in this as well if I really wanted to. So that's where I start when I'm creating a kit. I actually rarely start with the photo, but today I'm starting with a photo and paper combination, but you should start with whatever works for you. I find it the most helpful to find a multicolored piece of pattern paper and then build from there. That's my go-to strategy for building a mini kit. So that's what I'm going to do next, is I'm going to try to find a multicolored patterned paper that then I can take all of the other colors in my kit out of that color scheme. So I happen to have a couple of things that have been laying around on my desk. I have the Dear Lizzie Saturday collection. I have the Cute Me collection from Crepe Paper. And I also have Take Me Away from Pink Paisley. So these have been out on my desk for several weeks now. I've been scrapbooking from all three of these kits or collections ever since the summer. And I love them, and I still have lots left. So I'm kind of feeling like I'm ready to start digging into my stash though. So before I dig into my stash, I'm going to go through these and try to find some multicolored pattern paper, at least one piece. And I'm going to try to not pick too many. So I'm going to start by just kind of flipping through. And this donut paper, I've already used this donut paper, but this really stands out as some of the colors that I think would look fabulous with this photo. So I'm going to hang on to this as maybe my inspiration piece, and I'm going to look and see if there's more patterns in this Saturday collection from Dear Lizzie that are like this, because there probably are, because that's what this collection is from. So I'm just going to have a look. Again, I'm trying to stay focused on just looking for a piece of multicolored patterned paper. So here is a multicolored pattern paper that has the blues, it has some yellows, it has some pinks, and I like how everything is toned down because it allows kind of the brighter colors here to really pop out in the photo. So I might take this. It also has the similar color scheme on the back on another pattern option, so that's a good choice. I don't want this layout to be too matchy-matchy, so I'm not going to want to take a whole bunch of papers from the same collection. A cityscape would be appropriate here because we were in the city, we were at the mall, and I know that Dear Lizzie Saturday has a cityscape, so I'm going to look for that as well. And here is a beautiful navy blue that might be nice for matting or for accents. So I'm just putting you on fast forward while I flip through some of these papers. I'm looking for that cityscape. There it is right there. And this just gives me a chance to clear out some of the items that have been sitting around on my desk before I have to put them away. I might as well give myself one last crack at it. I am picking out some items from the Cute Girl collection. I love that floral. And the Cute Girl collection, I picked the sticker set and the chipboard set because they have sister themes. And then I cut out those two cut apart cards because of the colors and the fact that one of them has a cityscape. Now here's a piece of cardstock that I'm going to add to my kit. And look, there's another cityscape in the Take Me Away collection, as well as that kind of graphic background paper with the color blocks on it. And here I'm starting to accumulate a little bit too much for a mini kit. This is starting to feel more like a full-sized month-long kit. And this is really just supposed to do me through a weekend or a single session of scrapping. So I'm going to actually tone it down, but first I'm going to have a look through some of the 6x6 paper pads that have been on my desk. This gray is a nice neutral and it's very, very light, so I like that. And then that light wood grain as well. And now I'm going to look at the Take Me Away 6x6 paper pad. I love that tone on tone dark bluey black, and there's another cityscape there in case I needed it at a different scale. And so I'm being pretty liberal and taking lots and lots of stuff out of these kits. And I'm talking here, but I've decided to just kind of narrate over this part. So I have a piece of pink cardstock. I have this color blocked background paper. I have this scripty font, and I have a cityscape. And that's my inspiration piece. And here's my multicolored pattern paper that's based on my inspiration piece. So I've chosen similar colors, which is pretty easy because some of these papers are from the same collection as my inspiration piece. I've also picked a handful of 6x6 papers at two different scales of the same cityscape. And that one is good for matting. And so I'm thinking about matting, and I'm thinking about combining patterns and colors and that sort of thing. That one journaling card is good for journaling. The other one is a good title card. And this floral has similar colors, and these embellishments, these stickers, have nice sister themes and cutesy themes that are good for what I plan to scrapbook. I grabbed a couple of neutrals, so I grabbed a piece of gray cardstock and a black and white striped piece of paper, and that's where I'm at right now with this. So right now I'm looking at that color pink, and it's kind of like a peachy pinky color, and I feel like the papers I have picked out so far just don't have enough pink in them. So I'm picking out a couple of options from my pink stash. This is just my regular stash. Some of these are very, very old pieces of paper, and I'm looking for some pink, and so there I have a little bit more pink to work with now. And then the other thing I'm thinking is that I don't have quite enough yellow. So I'm going to head over to my stash and grab a little bit of yellow. See, I have some hits of yellow, but I don't have quite enough. So I'm going to put my pink stash folder back, and I'm going to have a look at what yellows I have. So that first yellow is not quite the right shade. I've got some yellows that are too light and some yellows that are too golden. This yellow, those two pattern papers right there, are more like the colors that I'm looking for. So one is an acetate and one is just a plain polka dot. So I'm going to put my yellow scraps, not my yellow scraps, but my yellow stash back. And then I'm starting to think, maybe instead of cutting into full-size papers, maybe I should be looking through my stash. So that's what I'm going to do. My stash of scraps, that is. So I'm just looking through my scraps, and whoa, look at that gray and yellow floral. I love that. So I'm going to grab that for my kit. I've got a whole assortment of yellows here, and I'm going a little bit overboard, so I'm going to put a few of them back, and this is what I have so far. So far I've talked a lot about colors, and that is probably my first principle that I use when I'm making a kit, is I think about the colors that I want. And I definitely have a nice color scheme going here of the yellows and the pinks and the blues. And here I am just pulling in some papers that I might want to use for matting from my scraps. And then this is another multicolor pattern paper that picks up on a lot of the same colors, but it brings a little bit more of the pure pink. And so there might be one layout that I want to use the peachy pink, and another layout I might want to use the pinky pink. And so that adding that pattern paper to the mix just gives me more pink options. So I'm thinking about making sure that I have a good, in addition to color, I'm thinking about pattern, and I want to think about making sure that I've got some graphic type of patterns like this mosaic one here on top. And I'm also thinking about having some floral or organic type of patterns. Those would be florals and things that have kind of like lots of curvy lines. So for example, the script text font there that's a cursive is another example of an organic flowy type of a pattern. Then the other kind of pattern that I'm always thinking about and wanting to make sure I have represented is neutral patterns. So that's what I consider stripes, polka dots, and chevrons, and also wood grains. So I'm trying to make sure that I have an assortment of those different kinds of patterns, like a couple from each category. So a couple graphic, a couple floral, organic, a couple of neutrals, and I want them in different colors, and also in different scales, which means size. So I don't want them all to be little tiny polka dots and little tiny stripes. I want a variety of big and medium and small. So you just saw me go through my embellishments that were already out on my desk. So these are no-brainers because they're part of the same collection. So it's easy to say, okay, these would go, right? So I picked some embellishments out, and now I have my stash of general embellishments. And I have a little flower there that Craftin' Kate made me and sent to me quite a long time ago, that little gray flower that I showed you a second ago. And I'm just picking out some things based on color, and also I want to add a little bit of texture. So that case of embellishments that you just saw, and these are some brads, and I'm only going to use the lighter brad, so I'm going to leave the 4 dark pink hearts on the card. Now this is my texture drawer, and I'm just picking out a couple of things to add a little bit of texture. I actually only picked one, that gray piece of cardstock. It's been embossed with a wood grain embossing folder, and then I just rubbed an ink pad over it. This is becoming a really ginormous mini kit, so I have to tone it down a little bit. These are my little interesting little bits that I want to use, so I'm going to keep that exactly as it is, because you need lots of those to choose from. Although this looks like a giant stack of paper, it's really just 5 pieces that are not cut into, and then some scraps. So I'm okay with that. But this seems like a little bit too much to go with. So what I think I might do is actually pick some of these out and put them in here. That will help me not be overwhelmed as I create. So you can see that my kit creation process is actually a process of pulling together things that I think will work well together, and then culling down my options until I have just much less to work with. And so here I am just picking out the embellishments from, those are the die cuts from the Cute Girl collection that are more theme appropriate and color appropriate. Then I just took one of each of the tassels instead of having the whole package of tassels. And then I'm just going to pick the brads here that coordinate with the colors that I already have picked. Okay, so here's my mini kit. I have it all done, and I do like to have lots of options, and I scrapbook off the top of my head. I don't usually have a sketch. I don't usually have an idea of what I want to do, and so I personally need to keep my options a little bit open, and so I chose a fairly large mini kit for making 2 layouts out of. I don't want to be scrambling at the end and putting together something that I really don't like just because I'm working with a kit. So this is the way that I feel comfortable making my mini kit. I have 1 piece of cardstock, which I probably won't use, to be honest with you, because I rarely use cardstock. I have this, which may be a background paper. It's from Take Me Away. I have this, which is not a full piece, but it's almost a full piece of Cute Girl. I have this, which is a piece of Take Me Away. This, which is also from Take Me Away, my inspiration piece. This, which is from Chamel, and I'm really only probably going to use a tiny bit of it. This, which was my inspiration patterned piece, and I do like both sides of it, which is from Saturday, from Dear Lizzie. This scrap, which is a floral from Cute Girl. This scrap, which is from Saturday, from Dear Lizzie. This scrap, which is vellum from Cute Girl. This, which is from Saturday, no, from Take Me Away. It's just a little scrap. A couple more scraps. I have this scrap from Scraptastic, a scrap of gray, a scrap from Scraptastic. This scrap is from Studio Calico. This scrap is from Ellie Studio. I have 5 pieces of 6x6 paper from both Dear Lizzie and from Cute Girl. And I have a scrap of gray cardstock that's been run through an embossing folder with wood grain and then inked over it to make the texture stand out. So this is my paper starting off point. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of pattern paper that I'm working with. 5 full pieces, and then the rest are all scraps. Then I have an assortment of die cuts from the Cute Girl collection. I have an assortment of little dimensional items from my stash, including flare and some some heart brads, some tassels, a little frame, and some doilies. And oh yes, and this confetti stuff. I have a few of these balsa wood embellishments from Take Me Away. I have a set of chipboard stickers from Take Me Away. I have letter stickers from Dear Lizzie, but I will also go into my stash for letters. I often just leave letter stickers out of my kits because I like to choose my letters at the very end, and I like to choose from all of my stash of letter stickers. I have some varnish stickers from Dear Lizzie and these 2 sticker sets from Cute Girl. So my mini kit is pretty big, but I'm going to try to stick within it. The only thing that I might go outside for is letter stickers, especially the Little Mini Market letter stickers. I don't know which set I'm going to want until I get to that point. So these are some of the potential mini letter stickers that I might pick. These are mostly Mini Markets, and then these are also from October Afternoon. And then I'll just go to my stash for thickers, but I'd like to use these thickers. And that's it. My recipe for a mini kit is to choose 5 pattern papers, 5 full-size pattern papers, starting with an inspiration piece preferably, and then choosing colors from that piece of paper or from another multicolored patterned paper, and then choose about maybe 10 scraps of paper as well from my scrap drawers. And when I'm picking, I'm thinking primarily about color, and then secondary, so I'm drawing from that inspiration patterned piece with the different colors in it. And then secondary to color, I'm thinking about having a variety of patterns that fall into these 3 categories: geometrics, organics, and then what I consider those neutral and classic patterns like stripes and polka dots. So I try to have some from each of those categories, and I try to mix it up in terms of the scale. So I've got some small scale and some medium scale and some large scale within that. I also try to have some neutrals, including some darks, like either a dark gray or a black or a navy blue, and some really, really light colors like that very light gray or a really light wood grain. And then I choose some embellishments based on adding dimension, texture, and also following with the theme of the photos that I think I'm going to be using, and the color scheme that I've chosen in the paper. So that is my recipe. I will post it in the information section below, just in point form. So the last thing that I like to do when I'm picking a mini kit is I think about, is there a tool or a technique that I want to use that I haven't used lately, that I want to just kind of use this as an opportunity to make sure that I bring something else into this. So in this case, this is one of my favorite punches, and I often forget to use my punches. So I'm going to put this out. I could very well use some other punch, but just having it as part of my mini kit will remind me to potentially use this shape or some other shape. And so this will really help me remember I have a lot of border punches. I should use this one or another one in one or both of these layouts. So I'll put that in my kit as well. And so if you have something that you've been trying to remember to use, whether it's washi tape or a punch or a certain set of dies that you love, or embossing folders, or a roller date stamp that you love and always seem to forget about, this is a good chance for you to bring that out and put it in your mini kit just to spark your memory. The idea of a mini kit is to help you get creating. It's not to be a barrier where you're going to say, okay, this is all that I can use and the pressure is on that I have to use these. It's just about narrowing down my whole scrap room of supplies into this little set of supplies that I can draw from. And then if I'm really stuck and I feel like, oh gosh, I wish I put a piece of navy blue cardstock in here, then sure, I'll just go to my stash and I'll grab a piece of navy blue cardstock. So the idea is that this is supposed to get you going. It's not supposed to cause you more problems in your scrapping. So be as flexible about it as you need to be. That will help you stay creative and get working and enjoy the process. So I'm going to start by scrapbooking this picture right here, and that will be the next video that you see on my channel.